press for being here. I'd also like to thank the press that's viewing by way of our live stream, as well as many other persons who may be viewing. This is a very important press event, and we hope to get our message out to the masses. I will read a press statement, and after I finish the statement, I will take some Q&A from the press. And still I rise. Today I stand before you with a heavy heart, burdened with great sadness. Today I'm responding to a moral imperative driven by the dictates of conscience. My conscience dictates that I continue to condemn the hate-driven speech and violence being perpetrated against Jews. On the 8th of October, 2023, excuse me for just a moment. Thank you. On the 8th of October, 2023, I tweeted on the X platform the following. Former Majority Leader Rep. Steny Hoyer is right. Jews must have the right to live safely and securely in their ancestral homeland. I continued with, in this terrifying hour, I stand with them and I condemn the heinous terror attack in the strongest possible way, referring to the attack on Israel by Hamas. On October 17th, 2023, I signed on to, which means I co-sponsored, HRES 793, calling on Hamas to immediately release hostages taken during the October 2023 attack on Israel. The resolution condemns Hamas for its brutal attack on Israel. It condemns Hamas for taking of hostages. It condemns Hamas for threats made against hostages. It demands that Hamas immediately release all hostages and return them to safety. It goes on to recognize that the taking of hostages is a violation of international humanitarian law, and it expresses sympathy to the hostages, wounded, deceased, and their families for the travesty to justice and personal hardship. A copy of the resolution will be provided to the press. I have proclaimed publicly and believe that Israel is real and has a right to exist. Since being seated in Congress in 2005, I have supported funds to Israel in furtherance of a two-state and Palestinian peace solution. I cannot of vast numbers of innocent civilian Palestinians in a war today with a heavy heart and a moral imperative driven by conscience. I am calling for a ceasefire of innocent Palestinian civilian women and especially children. They too are real and have a right to live. I thank all of you because I think this is an important message. Very important to note, and I still note this, that today I do have a heavy heart, and I am concerned, and it is a matter of conscience that I'm calling for this ceasefire against civilian men, women, and especially children, because it's true. Like Israel, they too are real and have a right to live. I welcome questions.
Congressman, in regards, war's never free, in regards to the situation happening, what's about alternative? What can be presented to Congress? What steps and measures can be taken?
You're right. Wars are not pretty. I regret that we ever have to have wars. But I do understand. And I understand that Hamas is a terrorist organization, that it has committed crimes against humanity. But I also remember 9/11, and I remember Osama bin Laden. And I remember that our country did not bomb Pakistan to take him out. There are other ways to do this without deciding that innocent babies can be sacrificed target. At some point, history will not be kind to us for condoning the taking of babies' lives to take out a target. I believe that we have a responsibility, in fact, a moral imperative, to protect the lives of the innocent. The war was not declared against Palestine. The war was declared against Hamas. And so far, Palestinians are the greatest victims since Israel declared the war on Hamas. Israel suffered. No one should deny that. I don't deny that. I am a supporter and have been a supporter of Israel. I supported funding to Israel. I still support a two-state solution. I believe this is the road to peace. But I cannot support knowing that there are children all about, as was the case yesterday, all about, knowing they were all about, and then deciding that you would fire into that area to take out a target, knowing that the children would become victims. There's something terribly wrong with this. We cannot allow ourselves to become the victims. We can at some point, if we don't give serious thought to what we're doing, become that which we disdain. We can become that which we are fighting. I refuse to go there. I will not be a part of that history. Those who choose to, do what you may. As for me, my conscience dictates that I take a stand with these innocent civilian Palestinian men, women, and especially children. Your next question, please.
What's the word around Congress? How does the president feel about this? Do you stand with him as far as resolutions?
Well, the president has called for a humanitarian pause. I think there's currency in this. I think that we do have to get humanitarian aid into the Palestinians. After all, the war was not declared against Palestine. The war was declared against Hamas. If the war is declared against Hamas and the Palestinians are the people who are suffering greatly, at some point we have to ask ourselves, what will the aftermath of this be? Will we have so engaged in this war that there will be no means by which we can have a two-state pathway to peace? With all of these babies that are being killed, and all of these other persons as well, there are people who are going to grow up with a memory, just as there are people in Israel who have memories. At some point, we've got to have a generation of people who haven't suffered war, who haven't lived through war. I don't think we will accomplish this by deciding to take targets out when we know, when it is known that there are innocent civilian men, women, and babies in and about that area who are likely to become victims. We took out Osama bin Laden, and we did not take out one Pakistani in the process, no one outside of that compound. There are ways to do this. We have intelligence that we share with the Israelis. I think that we should share that intelligence. I think that every one of those persons who did this dastardly deed in Israel ought to be brought to justice. Every one of them. And I think that you don't have to do it all in one day. We didn't take one day to get Osama bin Laden, but we got him. And I believe that there are ways to do this using our intelligence and time and not kill babies in large numbers, knowing that they are in the area where the target is. If you look at these photographs on television, these pictures of the rubble, at some point, there has to be a rebuilding of Gaza. We can't fund a war and then ignore the need for peace. At some point, you can win a war and lose the peace. We have to make sure that we prosecute wars in such a way that we can have peace at the end of the day. And if we're going to have peace, Gaza is going to have to be rebuilt. And what I'm saying to you in no way now means that I have some reason to say that Jewish people are at fault. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I support Palestinians too. I have supported Jewish people since I've been in Congress. I support Palestinians as well. No additional questions. I'll close with this. I believe in peace. I understand that Israel has a right to seek justice. I believe this, and I want justice. But in pursuing justice, you have to do it in a just way. And to do it in a just way, you cannot kill babies to get to a target. Those babies have a right to life. They have a right to grow up and become human citizens, just like the rest of us. Having Palestinian roots does not mean that their lives are worth less than any other child's life on this planet. I have stood for the lives of the Israelis, and I stand for the lives of Palestinians, not for Hamas. Separate them, go after them, but stop killing babies. Thank you.